Hey, what's happening? What's up? Another video from Ballpark Legends. Gentlemen, this time we're going to go over what our numbers were last year. We're going to go over, let me just cut the music down a little bit again. We're going to go over just some basics of why we feel that we run good leagues and how we come up with the whole framework or the foundation of the league. And it starts off like this. I want to start off by telling you that I'm just going to go give you a little quick menu of what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to give you a little, first of all, a quick introduction on myself, what I'm about, how did I get started in leagues and such. Next, I want to get into, what it takes to build a good statistically balanced league, pitching, hitting, where guys are able to have some fun and want to come back year in and year out. After that, I want to talk a little bit about, how we came up with the statistics for this. How did we work it all out and get the numbers or come up with the settings and sliders and what fits for the entire league. Next, I want to get into the actual numbers, which are what you're looking at to the left of you. First, I'm going to talk about the hitting, and then I'll shoot another video for the pitching. And just to wrap up, I will just talk about the pros and cons and what we would like to get done better for the next season, which is this season. You haven't seen a thread yet on the Show Nation for this league. For some reason, there's a limit or a minimum of 25 posts before you can actually put up a thread yourself. So that's what we're dealing with right now. It's May 20th. So we're looking at maybe in the next couple of days we'll have a thread out. All right, just to start off, I want to talk about who I am and what I do and why I decided to all get crazy and do all this stuff in terms of running the leagues and coming together with some of my friends. I'm an IT guy. My background is mathematics and computers. I graduated in computer science. I love math. I was 2 math courses away from having a mathematics degree, being able to teach math if I wanted to. So numbers always excite me. I think that's why I've always been a big fan of baseball. It's just what stat is next to reach for these guys out there. They're looking at OPS, and there's now these metrics, sabermetrics this, and baseball is just a big numbers game in a sense. And then there's an aspect of fun, pure fun. Guys acting silly, there's a fresh ballpark you get to go out to, just a nice sunny day and watch a game on fresh grass. I mean, that's amazing. So you get a combination of a lot of things that are really good to me. So that's why baseball is one of my favorite sports. I got into leagues because I've usually played baseball games year in and year out, but mostly on my own. As MLB The Show, which is pretty much a really good game, I got to give it up to those guys. They put in a lot of good work on building these games year in and year out. Something's a little quirky here and there, sort of stress everyone out in terms of, how to make it fair or make it balanced for a league. But at the end of the day, it's really good work, and they're coming up with all this new stuff year in and year out. Quick counts, that's not one of my things I would have jumped on, but as I look out there in PS4 streaming, there are a few people playing it, so you gotta say it's a hit. Got into leagues in 2010 with a few buddies, and what happened was we all were, playing around out there, and you get to pick up a game here and there when you come in from work. But at some point, you wanted something that was, accumulating. You wanted something that would stick. You wanted something that would say, after 15, 20 games, who won some grand all. And that was the whole appeal to leagues, just to have something that you can say was a overall total working project that was fun, and everyone wants to be in baseball. Everyone wish they could be an athlete, a pro athlete, and be able to win those awards and that type of stuff. So got together with a couple of buddies in 2010. We ran a few leagues. I wasn't in it to start, but I came in around a year after and did a lot of work with them. However, last year, I think last year's game was pretty stressful in terms of how to create balance. The guys at MLB The Show created a really good game. I think right out the gates, everyone can say that game was 2013 was the best of them all in terms of hitting and pitching. Nothing should have been touched, but somehow the guys felt that they needed to update or change something to hit the Hall of Fame. They said wasn't hard enough or wasn't playing like Hall of Fame. And that created a whole ball of wax because after they changed that, Hall of Fame was unplayable, and then All-Star level was also too easy. So, if you got guys that play this game and know baseball, you don't want to just be playing games where you're just jacking up the ball left and right. And then Hall of Fame, it's just, a pitcher's game. No runs, 1 and 2 runs per game, maybe. So you had no Goldilocks zone. And a lot of people went out there and came up with sliders and all sorts of adjustments. And it sort of divided a few persons or people that put together leagues. It's a difficult process of coming up with something that everyone is comfortable with. At the end of the day, last year, myself and 2 other friends, Goodfella, New York, Marlins 09, we worked together on custom sliders, meaning we did them ourselves. We didn't go out to Operation Sports or anything like that. We tested these sliders. We pitched a few games. We played a few games, pitching and hitting. And at the end of it all, we felt very comfortable that the numbers would gel right, and it would gel for the majority of everyone. And this is what this video is about. This is an aftertake of all that work that was done. And this is what you get when you join a league like this. We work, a few days, and a few hours before we just jump out and create some sort of league setting and sliders and have guys just trust us off of something we do know. So this is the kind of work that you will get when joining this league. Stuff is tested and it's believed by not just one person, a few persons, that it is very playable and enjoyable. At the end of the day, the numbers are going to look good, but you still want to have fun. You want to get enough hits, pitch a shutout also. So there's something of all of that happening with these sliders and configuration we came up with. Last year, we ended up going with Hall of Fame hitting and pitching, and we adjusted some of the hitting sliders just to make the game more balanced for the hitting. The hitting was off balance, and we got some numbers. Take a look at the left and tell me what you think. In those numbers, you'll see that a lot of our guys, I'm just going to go to that sheet, a lot of our guys at the end of the day ended up with very good team averages. We had 1 and 2 guys that were sort of below the curve in terms of team averages, but for the most part, the bulk of the league hit between 230 and 250. You had some guys over that number, and if you look at Major League Baseball, that's what these are the numbers I'm pulling up right here, which is MLB for 2013. And I'll throw a little picture in between this video for you to take a look at what I'm looking at. And what you see in terms of averages throughout a Major League for 2013, you see teams batting as low as 231. And the highest team, which was the Tigers, hit 283. And if you look at our numbers to the left over there, you'll see that the bulk of our guys did that. We even had one guy hit 300, which is that guy was pretty good. I give him credit. It wasn't all his numbers. It was a combination of 2 guys. hung another one, and can't really come to me right now. They both came together and put up those numbers for the end of the season of the Texas Rangers. One of my buddies, Medic 75, he really batted low with the Tampa Bay Rays, but that was just because I think it wasn't one of those teams he was familiar with. And at, at playing throughout the season, after a while, he got a little comfortable with the team and did a little here and there. But that's part of what also happens in the game. If someone's playing with a team they're not comfortable with, or it's the first time, they may struggle. So even though the stats or even though the settings are correct, or the settings may be good for most, you may have a guy playing with a team that he's not familiar with. Rootsman was probably one of the most struggling player in the league, just because I think this was his first year playing in a format like this. We recruited him last year, and he mostly played offline. And this is getting a first taste of how guys CPU playing versus a CPU or playing Road to the Show is very different than playing a human. A human can adjust much quicker, and we mix you up. It depends on how we see how each other how we depends on how the game is going, and we react to what someone else is doing. CPU really doesn't do that. They have a set format of how they're going to play. So he got a taste of it, and I think he's getting better in terms of playing online leagues. He's going again this year. He'll be in the league, and good luck to him. In terms of where we want it to be, if you look at MLB numbers in terms of home runs and averages, we were not also right there where they were between their low 230s and they're hitting high 280, and we were low 200 with one guy below the Mendoza and hitting 280s and 300. So we feel comfortable. We felt we had a good season. I had no one that came to me and said, "Ah, man, I can't even jack this ball out. I can't get enough hits. It's 3-2 hits per game." So that wasn't a situation we got or heard from any players in our league last season. So that alone tells us that it was balanced in terms of the hitting, and guys felt comfortable at the plate. The home runs wise, majority of Major League Baseball, they hit 1.2 home runs per game. In terms of a video game, you'd expect it to be a little higher. We actually hit the same as Major League Baseball when it comes to home runs. We were all team-wise. I think I hit 38 home runs. Started off really good. I looked like I was going to hit, high 1.5 to 2, but at the end of the season, I ran into good pitching, so guy knocked down my average, and I hit under 40 games, 38 home runs. Not something I like. I like to be one that jacks it up. But I had fun. I felt comfortable, and I felt like I could have hit one out the park. It wasn't where I was playing the game, and then it's just like, oh, I can't get anything out of this park. We had a few guys, for the most part. I think the highest was about 1.5 home runs per game, or no, it was about 1.35 or something like that home runs per game. And this year, I think, just to wrap up what this quick call, this video is, we wanna reach that. I mean, it's a video game, and it's more of a sense of balls going out of the park, not at a drastic pace, not something as 2 home runs per game. You play 40 games and you hit 80. That's a lot. We'd like to get guys up there though. Maybe they'll hit 60, 65 home runs in the entire 40 game season. I mean, that's when it's fun. You want to see if someone can be able to be a Barry Bonds type player, have someone on their team jack up 15 home runs, or 20 home runs in a 40 game season. But for the most part, that's what it's about. When you're creating leagues and when you're trying to create a good chemistry, something for everyone to enjoy in terms of hitting. I'll give you a next video in terms of pitching. we work hard on making sure that everyone's comfortable at the plate, that they feel that they can take one out of the park, and also that they're getting hits. It's just like you're not being blown away, or you're getting slap hits to a guy. It's ground out, ground out, ground out. It's pretty boring. And it turns out, the games go 40, 45 minutes, and it's not enjoyable. You wouldn't get consistency from your players if that were the case. Um, Ballpark legends, we work hard at that, and we make sure that if the sliders are playable for us, they're definitely playable for you, because we play a lot of people in the lobbies, and we've played a lot of players throughout the years. That's the end. That's the wrap. Pros and cons. I think last year was a successful year in terms of hitting, and maybe we want to give a little bit more leeway in terms of the numbers this year. Nothing too drastic. Maybe a 10% higher production throughout the league. All right, fellas, that's a wrap. No more numbers.